In 1760, chief complexities of domestic life on Virginia's plantations, a complexity Patty knew well, lay in negotiating the questions of blood, sex, and dominion that bound white and enslaved families in largely unspoken ways. The forest was rife with such issues. Around 1735, a man named Hemmings, the white English captain of the trading ship, fathered a daughter with a full-blooded African. The African woman's child was named Elizabeth, also known as Betty. The details come from the account of Madison Hemmings, the great-grandson of Captain Hemmings and of the African. Mother and daughter ended up as slaves of the Epps family of Bermuda Hundred, the Epps family from which John Wales would take his first bride, Martha, who died in childbirth. By 1746, the year Wales married Martha Epps, Elizabeth Hemmings, then about 11 years old, moved to the forest. There, beginning at age 18, she gave birth to several children. Wales, meanwhile, outlived his daughter's two stepmothers. After the third Mrs. Wales died in February 1761, Elizabeth Hemmings, now about 26 years old, was taken by the widower Wales as his concubine, said Madison Hemmings. Beginning in 1762, Elizabeth Hemmings bore 5 children to Thomas Jefferson's father-in-law: Robert, James, Thenia, Critta, and Peter. In 1773 came a 6th, Sarah, who was to be known by the nickname Sally. Such arrangements were not uncommon in slave-owning states. In the 19th century, South Carolinian Mary Boykin Chestnut noted something about white women that was equally true in the 18th. Any lady is able to tell who is the father of all the mulatto children in everybody's household but their own. Those, she seems to think, dropped from the clouds. It was a world of desire and denial, sex across the color line, sex between owner and property, was pervasive, yet rarely directly addressed or alluded to. The strange intermingling of blood and affection and silence suffused the world of the forest that Jefferson came to know in 1770, the year he turned up as one of the candidates for Patty's hand. It was to suffuse Monticello, too, in the fullness of time. Jefferson's success in wooing the widow Skelton was not assured, which may have made him work all the harder. By the first months of 1771, Jefferson was in full pursuit. He wrote a romantic, poetical description of her to a correspondent in Williamsburg named Mrs. Drummond, an elderly woman who was friendly with the George Wyths. "No pen but yours could surely so beautifully describe Patty," wrote Mrs. Drummond, who praised Jefferson's now lost Miltonic lines and said she did not know whether Patty's heart was engaged already.